my name is James Studley. I'm here again with Full Potential Learning Academy, and today we will be going over comparison problems in SAT and ACT exams. By examining list-like problems in ACT and SAT exams, we'll be better prepared to answer them and see the errors in comparison problems. Today, we'll be going over logical comparisons and why they're wrong in a sentence. We'll be going over the differences and when's appropriate to use certain comparison words. We'll be going over number shifts with parallelism connections, and finally some practice to help you master what you learned today in this lecture. When comparing subjects and items in a sentence, it is imperative to compare like things to each other. For example, her chances of getting an A aren't much better than the lottery. This is wrong because you're comparing her chances of getting an A to the lottery, and we should be comparing her chances of getting an A to her chances of winning the lottery, as shown to the right. Her chances of getting an A aren't much better than her chances of winning the lottery. We also have another example similar below. She has played in more concerts than any cellist in her school. This is wrong because you're comparing herself to every other cellist in the school, including herself. So that's wrong. And you should say she's played in more concerts than any other cellist in her school. By comparing like things to each other, you get the best results in the sentence of comparing things to each other. Comparisons have a very select word choice when it comes to countable versus uncountable subjects. To be specific, when you're comparing countable subjects, such as physical objects, you need to use the words fewer, number, and many. For uncountable objects that are intangible things or ideas, you should use the words less, amount, or much. And we can see this in action with the examples to the right. We know in the first example that we should replace less with the word fewer, since we can count the physical fans at the games. Another similar example is below, where we have to change the word amount to the word number, as we can still count the fans at the games. By ensuring that we're counting the right thing in a sentence, where it would be countable versus uncountable, we'll have proper parallelism within a sentence, so that way our sentence is correct in grammar. There's also an important distinction for certain adjectives to be used when comparing two or more subjects in a sentence. For comparing exactly two things in a sentence, it is better to use the words between, more, and er adjectives for them. For comparing three or more subjects in a sentence, it is better to use among, most, and est adjectives. We can see this in the examples to the right. We see that strongest has to be replaced with stronger when comparing the two superpowers, and we see that more must be replaced with most when we compare Deborah to the students. By making sure we have the right amount compared in the sentence, we have parallelism, which leads to a better sentence in grammar, in English, and in SAT and ACT test overall. We can also see comparison problems in what are known as number shifts. Number shifts are what happen when the subjects shift in number. With the examples right below, we can see that we need to fix number shifts in order to fix parallelism and make sure that there is no confusion reading the sentence. First example, a winner must be changed to winners to match for the subject of they, because it is 2 on 2 then, and so the numbers match. Next example, was must be changed to were to match the plural lighthouses in the sentences. By matching the number of the subjects in a sentence, you can fix comparison problems as well as have parallelism in a sentence. And if you have that, you'll have a better SAT or ACT score overall. Here is some practice to master what you have learned in this lecture. These questions all have comparison problems which go over what we have covered in this lecture so far. Feel free to pause the video now, take your time, and practice with these questions. It's okay if you made mistakes or didn't try them out on your own. Physical practice is actually what's more important in this lesson. Here are the answers to the comparison problems from before. By fixing the comparison problems, we see the answers need to be changed in order to better match the listing in a sentence. First problem must be changed so that poetry can be compared to more poetry rather than a person. The second problem is a number shift problem, so the comparisons must be changed from their singular to plural forms so they match the first plural subject. Finally, the last sentence must change from est adjectives to er adjectives because the sentence is comparing two authors rather than more than the two authors. Understanding these errors is a good first step. However, it's important that basic understanding evolves into mastering concepts, so try practicing on other examples you may see outside this lecture. By keeping comparisons correct and parallel, it'll be easier to spot errors on tests and will allow test takers to be prepared when they come across listing questions on a test. The next lecture will focus on pronoun antecedent disagreements, a new subject that will help you understand the problems that come with identifying the right pronoun in a sentence. The material provided in this lecture was provided by the McGraw-Hill book, Chapter 15, Lesson 4, Comparison Problems. Thank you for watching. Teach you next time.